What's your position at the Heartland
I'm
Institute?
Senior Fellow for Environment Policy at the Heartland Institute.
Today is about climate realism. Why that label and not climate denial or climate skepticism or other terms?
Well, because I think the most accurate label is that we're bringing a realistic view of the science. The term denial or whatever else is a way to attempt to silence debate or make it seem like there's one set of facts and then one set of propaganda, but it's really the other way around. What we're doing here, we're bringing scientists who have been studying this issue all their lives, and they're saying people should consider this evidence. We should have a vibrant, open discussion, and we should be testing the theories that people have put forward. And that is, I think, scientific realism in its purest form.
Are you satisfied with the turnout today?
Yes, very much so.
Sure.
It's
not a fringe event?
No, not at all. And not only here in the room, but even more importantly, if we look at previous events that we've held as examples, we can expect to see thousands of people watching on the internet. We can expect to have press coverage that will convey what we're speaking about here in the room. By comparison, when Jim Lakely and I were at the United Nations event last week, events like this would have maybe 10 people in the room.
Is climate change really a UN hoax?
I think that climate change is something that's always been occurring, so I'm not sure what the question is.
But in the sense of, some say, it's a ruse for distribution of wealth from rich countries to poor.
So,
I mean, by many that is seen as hysterical.
So speaking for myself, I would say that the assertion that humans are creating a global warming crisis that demands immediate action is not justified by the science. There are many people who come to that conclusion that we are creating a global warming crisis through legitimate concerns, through an examination of the evidence, but there are a lot of people who come to that conclusion for reasons of political self-interest, for a whole variety of reasons. I don't like to look at terms or labels that will look at people's motives, but I think that the science indicates we're not creating a global warming crisis.
We've seen President Obama take quite a lead on driving a Paris deal. There's been the Clean Power Plan that came out this year. There's been other drives. Is he misleading the American public?
In many ways, yes, he is. When President Obama talks about an increase in extreme weather events and he gives examples, the scientific evidence contradicts him each and every time. When President Obama tries to demonize and vilify people who are posing questions of science and presenting scientific evidence, I think that is a disservice to science and a disservice to politics. I wish that President Obama, and I wish people on all sides of the issue, I don't want to make this a us versus them issue, but I wish that people on all sides of the issue would say there's room for, and not only room for, but an imperative for, honest discussion and debate with open minds in which we listen to each other and try to reach the solution that's most truthful.
Do you think the editorial policies of most influential newspapers now are unscientific in that they appear to back global warming?
Boy, that's a very strong statement. I would say that most of the media that I see, they venture too far in the direction of alarmism.
Okay.
I think they take many of the environmental activist groups at their word, either out of naivety, a lack of information, or maybe political sympathy. So I would like to see a little more reflection of the science and the scientific debate that's actually occurring.
And just finally, over the last few years, the Heartland Institute's reputation has been somewhat damaged, and even Mark Morano has compared, it being a very unseemly to be a climate skeptic some days. He compared it to having a bit of crap on your shoe, if you'll excuse my French. How can you improve your image, or have you lost the battle? Are you marginalised, and you guys are you dinosaurs?
I love that question because I think it just embodies all that the people who are promoting the global warming crisis just don't understand. I think our reputation is fantastic. Our reputation may be...
But you've lost a lot of funding. I mean, you were trying to get $50,000 for this, and you've only just achieved it.
So if you talk about whether our reputation is strong among environmental activists, the fact that we're dropping, I think, is a measure of success because they're not following science. If you're asking whether we're getting funding from corporations or people with big money who have vested interests, again, if that's what's driving us, I think that would be putting us on the wrong side of the issue. Thankfully, we're not. I will note, for example, just a week ago, there's a peer-reviewed study. I hope you'll look it up. It was written by faculty at Michigan State University. And their conclusion was that when people were given access solely to the alarmist point of view, it didn't really move their opinion very much. It had their opinions. But when they heard about what skeptics were saying, whether they were conservative or liberal, it changed their mind. And I think that shows when people hear the facts, it has a tremendous impact. So I would say that that's enhancing our reputation, and anytime that truth comes to the forefront, it doesn't even matter what people think of you. It matters that science is being conducted and the truth is coming out. And I'm proud to say we're doing that.
Thanks ever so much.
Thank you very much.